Hello, everybody, and welcome to this really quick, oversimplified kind of overview of the 1920s, 100 years ago in the US history. It's the 20s again right now, but the 20s in the 1900s were a pretty crazy time. They're usually known as the Roaring 20s, like roaring, like, kind of like a party, like woo, because there was a lot of changes, a lot of excitement in the country. Essentially, the important thing to know is World War One had just ended in 1918, so the country's kind of like, "Woo, big war's over." The economy is really going up. Lots of people are making a lot of money. Of course, this is all going to crash in the 30s with the Great Depression, but they don't know that's going to happen yet. But essentially, what's happening is everyone's super happy. Um, a lot of good things are happening as far as people making money. Also, there's this thing called prohibition, which means alcohol is illegal across the entire country. But people don't stop drinking just because it's illegal. It just makes it so that alcohol is illegal. And now there's these clubs, these kind of secret bars called speakeasies. Like you had to speak a password to get in, so it was like a secret club, but everyone knew they were there. They weren't really secret; they were just illegal underground clubs, kind of like the Underground Railroad. They were underground, as in secret, and these were kind of a really important part of like cultural crossing because they were illegal. None of the rules applied. So what you would actually see in these clubs is what we're going to see here is jazz, a new form of music created by and mostly performed by African Americans or Black people, was played in these, became the new music that was seen as like big and happy, and you'll listen to some, and it kind of was like, woo, it makes people want to dance and move around a bit. And also, men and women were in these clubs together. It kind of started to break down gender norms where men and women were almost starting to be slightly be seen as equals, hanging out together in these clubs. Also, Black people and white people would hang out together. So we're slowly starting to get those like actual interactions that are slowly starting to break down segregation. So the 1920s was an important time when a lot of the kind of like social rules of like how people are like, this is just how society is, started to be changed and challenged. And we're also going to look at this incredible movement of art known as the Harlem Renaissance, where there's a lot of cultural pride in African American art, music, poetry, just all things kind of cultural and creative, and also how these really start to be spread across society, and people start to see more the value of African American or Black culture, history. And this is really the starts again of more breaking down of these barriers of segregation, at least in people's minds. The laws haven't quite changed yet, but people are starting to slowly see each other more as equals, just through interacting with each other, seeing each other as human beings. Once you actually, like, if you've never seen a Black person, never interacted with one, you might have just that stereotype in your head of what they're like. But once people actually start interacting with each other as human beings, as equals, slowly those ideas start to change. And that is really the cultural side of the 1920s in a nutshell, really small. Of course, it's an entire decade. You learn more about it in high school. But this is kind of the major things to know about the 1920s 100 years ago.